Alright guys, welcome to this video. And in this video, we're going to talk about how to use Instagram to your advantage and how to actually get dates with Instagram. Instead of being a consumer of Instagram, you're going to be a producer, a guy who produces results through the platform, dating results, business results, networking results. And you're going to be that type of guy because you don't want to be a consumer. You don't want to be the guy who uses the platform and gets lured into it without actually benefiting anything from it. So you're just a consumer, basically. You don't want to be that guy. You want to be a guy who leverages the platform so he can get success in some of the areas that would benefit from it. So anyways, let's dive in. I'm excited for this video. I'll see you right now. Now, I've been preaching Instagram for the past 6 years plus. Like, it's been almost 6 years now that every single year I tell guys, use Instagram for dating, okay? And not only for dating, for networking, for business. Now, a lot of guys, they just disregard this advice and they keep using only dating apps. Now, I'm not against dating apps. You can still use some dating apps. But if you're not using Instagram right now, you are leaving a ton of options on the table. And you're missing out on one of the biggest opportunities when it comes to dating, business, networking, social circle building, all of that. So, and personal branding too, because now Instagram is kind of your digital business card. Like, if you want to see if someone is legit, you're going to check Instagram, see if he's legit, see if he has an account there. If you want to make a connection with someone, usually, I mean, you could exchange phone number, but Instagram is just more smooth, right? So you want to be using Instagram, and I'm going to show you why and how to use it. And I'm even going to give you convo examples of how to actually leverage it to get dates, okay? I'm going to show you everything in this video. Now, not everything, because obviously I also have a paid program where I help my clients and we have a ton of other information, but I'm going to show you everything that you need to get started and actually start getting results with this. So yeah, let's dive into it. Number one, I mean, I don't want you to be a consumer of Instagram only, okay? A lot of you guys consume content every day on Instagram, on all these platforms, but you just don't want to be only a consumer. You want to produce outcomes. You want to produce dates. You want to produce money. You want to produce connections, right? So really shifting your mindset from this constant consumer type of mindset to a constant producer type of mindset. And it really makes a switch in your attitude when you have that mindset where instead of going on the platform to consume, you're trying to find ways to create. You're trying to find ways to leverage it to get results, right? And I'm going to show you how to do this. So now in this video, we're going to cover number one, why you need to be using Instagram and how it's superior to other dating apps. Number two, we're going to cover some 1% dating hacks on really how to position yourself the right way and how to build a certain personal brand that appeals to your target women, but also that shows high status to other men and other people in general who want to connect with you. Now, number three, I'm going to show you some conversation examples that shows you the whole process, how I conduct my interactions with women on Instagram. Okay, so let's dive in. But first, I want to tell you a quick story, okay? And I just want to tell you a quick story so you understand where this is all coming from, okay? So basically, a few years ago, I really thought I had a big advantage when it came to dating. You know, I was studying in one of the best business schools in Canada. I actually have my student card still here. I don't know if you can see McGill University. Okay, this is one of the top universities in Canada. I was a business student there. And I was also starting my first e-commerce store at the same time. And also I was modeling as well, just on the side. It was just for fun. I just did a few fashion shows and stuff like that. But ironically, at the time, while I was in one of the best business schools, while I was pretty good looking, I was modeling, I was starting my business, I was going to the gym every week. Well, I had very little success with women compared to right now. Back in the day, I wasn't really cold approaching. Like, The only time I was cold approaching was when I was going to nightclubs and getting drunk with my friends. So if I did go to a nightclub, which I used to go to nightclubs pretty consistently. I would say I would go to nightclubs like once a week, once every 2 weeks on average, unless there's like a big exam period where I had to really focus. I would just go to nightclubs pretty consistently because I mean, I'm young, I wanted to party. I'm just a young guy, right? And anyways, so I wasn't really cold approaching apart from when I'm drunk in nightclubs. So my only source of getting dates was mainly dating apps. And my profile wasn't that great. I mean, I had a few cool pictures, but I wasn't really getting a lot of matches. And the matches that I would get would be either very average girls or they would flake. Like the girls who were already, like the girls who were pretty, most of them would flake. Like, don't get me wrong, I had a few girls sometimes, but it wasn't consistent. Like maybe once every 3 months, I had this nice thing happening, but the rest was just average or not me getting results. Now, it was very frustrating to me because I thought that I had good looks, right? I thought that I had a cool lifestyle, good looks, good school. I thought, what the fuck? Like, what's going on? I should be getting laid every single week, but I was still not getting laid consistently, right? And I thought, shit, like, what's going on? I want to crack the code. Like, what's happening? And what was even more frustrating is I was seeing some guys that I knew doing better than myself, where honestly they weren't really that much more good looking or that much more successful. I'm a firm believer that you can't crack the code to anything unless you truly immerse yourself into it. And so that's what I did back in 2018. Summer 2018, I leveraged some of the connections I had because basically throughout that year, I started learning more and more about game and dating and all of that. And I started really immersing myself in the topic of dating. And I started joining some communities online. There were like some WhatsApp groups in Montreal about dating and pickup and all of that. And so I was in those groups. And some of the guys in those groups were actually promoters of nightclubs back in the day. And I was actually looking for a student job at the time. And I was like, you know what? Let me try to leverage those connections from the group to potentially get some kind of work in the nightlife. And so that's what I did. I became a promoter of a nightclub, and my job now was to bring a certain amount of girls every week to the nightclub, specifically on weekend days, right? And so that's what I started doing. Now, in the beginning, I didn't really have a strategy, but I started learning from the other guys who were doing it, and they were using Instagram. Instagram was their main platform. They were spending 3 to 6 hours a day on Instagram, DMing girls, and just like getting leads. That's what they were doing all day. Now, I learned a lot of strategies from them, but what truly changed the game was actually my trip to London that same year. So during that same year, I also traveled to London, and I got hosted by one of my friends, one of my connections there. And basically, that friend was roommates with another guy that I didn't know at the time, okay? And that other guy was, in fact, one of the best promoters in London and in Paris. And he was also studying. He was like in an engineering school in between London and Paris. But he was one of the best promoters. He was also doing this like full-time, collaborating with nightclubs and basically helping them get leads, get a lot of girls coming in. And basically he was collaborating with nightclubs and events to bring women, and he would make like a crazy commission. Now, when I first met him, he wasn't really talking about all that. Like he was pretty reserved, right? But then when I started discussing with him about this whole topic, he started to open up. And he started to really show me some stuff that I didn't know at the time about Instagram, about how Instagram worked. He showed me how to DM women the proper way. He showed me how to elicit interest from them and curiosity and intrigue when you DM them, and how to really get a lot of replies. He also showed me how to leverage invites to invite girls to his parties. He showed me how to craft the right texting scripts, and even how to use that as a dating app as well. And what I told him is, I told him that I could work for him basically for a few weeks as well, just to learn and implement what he teaches me basically and help him at the same time. And he agreed. So when he agreed, we started working together. And even when I was back to Montreal, because I only stayed a few days in London, when I got back in Montreal, I kept working with him for a few weeks and helping him get leads as well for his thing. And then I also implemented at the same time the same strategies for my own promoting work that I had back in Montreal with that nightclub. And my results just literally quadrupled. Like, instead of bringing 2, 3, 4 girls a week to that nightclub, I was bringing 20 girls, stuff like that. And that was crazy. It was really crazy. At some point, like, my phone was just girls, just girls everywhere. Like, all my DMs were just girls, you know? It looked like I was like a superstar or something like that. And I was getting paid. I was getting paid like $200 to $500 per night, per weekend, as a student, as a promoter. And I was getting laid because all these girls, I mean, at least one of them I would date afterwards, and you know, the rest was history. And I learned so many things from that guy, the guy from London, but also from the other guys in the community back in the day. And through the years, I mean, obviously the platform changes, and that was back in 2017-18. So obviously I've learned a lot of new practices in the meantime, and I kept updating and refining my systems up until now. And now I'm still doing this. Like, I'm still consistently getting dates with Instagram, inviting girls to events, making connections, networking through Instagram. And it's still one of the best platforms to do this. And as I said in the beginning of this video, if you're not leveraging Instagram to get dates, you're definitely missing out. So let's dive in. I know this story was a bit long, but let's dive in and let me show you how you can leverage it. Now, first, let's cut to the chase. If you're just relying entirely on Instagram, Bumble, and Hinge, and all these apps for your dating life to meet and date women, then you're just setting yourself up for failure, okay? Because all these apps are great in some way, but it's definitely not the best. Instagram is much, much better, and you're gonna waste so much time if you just use these apps only and you don't use Instagram. And I'm gonna show you why. Now, if you're still using mainly dating apps, here's what you're experiencing. You're probably swiping endlessly on those apps every day or every week, and you're wasting a bunch of time on it. If we had to calculate, that would range from half an hour to more than 5 hours a week on those apps. Then you're matching with flaky average girls most of the time, and most of your interactions aren't going anywhere. Like, you're matching with them, then either they unmatch you or they're not that hot, so you're not that compelled to talk to them. And even if you do talk to them, the conversation fizzles out. And even if it doesn't fizzle out, the girls are usually average. So yeah, it's not the best, right? And meanwhile, the women that you actually want, well, they're probably on Instagram. And you have to understand that Instagram isn't just a regular app. It's a social powerhouse. It's really where women showcase their lives, their interests, their standards, and where men also can see what you're about, right? And also women, obviously, but it's really the best platform to show who you are to the world. Now, obviously, all of this is a bit fake. I mean, it's social media. You're gonna obviously showcase your best life there, and you know, social media is a bit fake in some way, but you want to play that game. You want to portray who you are as a brand. You almost want to treat it as a business. What's your shopping window as a business? What does your brand look like, right? And that's what you need to understand. Now, high quality women, the ones you'd actually want to date, they usually rarely waste their time on Tinder or Bumble. Okay, if we're honest, most truly high quality women are not going to waste a ton of time on Tinder and Bumble. Okay, they know that those apps are full of weirdos, and they're full of guys with zero standards. And the only reason why some of these girls use these apps is to mainly get some validation. That's it. And even if they're on dating apps, many of them will just drop their Instagram handle instead of actually chatting with you, right? You will notice on all these apps like Bumble, Tinder, Hinge, most girls will actually drop their Instagram handle as their bio. And why is that? Well, that's because Instagram is the real filter. Okay, it's the real filter. Instagram is the last filter that they need to see who you are. And a lot of times I've had great conversations with girls on Tinder, but then before meeting me, they're asking me for Instagram. Oh, do you have Instagram? I want to see if you're real or not. I just want to see how you look like elsewhere before meeting you. Because they want to know, okay? They want to know if you get it. Instagram is great because it's a platform where they can connect more naturally without the stigma of looking for love, of being desperate and being on a dating app. Because it has a certain stigma, right? Oh, she's on a dating app. Oh, I met her on Tinder, right? It looks a bit desperate. Nowadays it became a bit mainstream, so it's fine, but still, it has that connotation still. And pretty much all the hottest women in any city are on Instagram. And it's not just about OnlyFans models or weird stuff like that, or influencers with fake asses who post thirst traps all day. Like, there's normal girls. There are girls who are normal, who are private, who have less than 1,000 followers, and just normal women, okay? A lot of guys think, oh, if I try to DM girls through Instagram, I'm only gonna find girls who are overly exposed to other guys, you know, like famous models, famous influencers, OnlyFans models. Like, a lot of guys think that if you're getting dates through Instagram, you're only gonna attract high exposure women, right? And that's not true in my experience. You can also tap into a market that's low exposure. So don't make the mistake of thinking that if you're gonna get dates with Instagram, you're only gonna be attracting girls who are high exposure, who are getting DM'd all day. That's not true. You need to have the right strategy. If you have the right strategy, you can tap into a market where the girls are low exposure, where the girls are even private, and you can actually message private girls, by the way. You can message people who are private. And there's a strategy where you can actually tap into a market of girls who are low exposure, normal girls, etc. And so if you're gonna be using Instagram as a dating tool, like I'm gonna show you, you're gonna already be setting yourself apart from a lot of guys. And you're gonna be able to tap into an off-market date generating machine. That's what I call it. It's an off-market date generating machine. Instagram, when you use it properly, it generates you dates every single week, whenever you want, right? And the problem is most guys, they don't know how to find girls. And they think that they need to be searching through keywords, they need to be sifting through posts all day to find women. But that's not true. There are some more effective strategies that I teach as well to not do that. Now, let's cover a few points about how to set up your profile and all of that. And I'm also going to be sharing with you exclusively in this video some conversation examples. So number one, let's talk about your profile, because let's be honest, 80% of your success on Instagram, and even on dating apps, by the way, is going to depend on your profile. So the first mistake that most guys make is they're not using their real name. They're using some weird username or some random numbers or some random stuff. No, you want to use your first name, last name, make it very simple. If your name is Jack Lewis, just make it at Jack Lewis or at jack.lewis if you don't find the exact thing. Now, if you still don't find those usernames, then you can do, Jack Lewis official, or you find like another way, but put your name there. You want to complete your bio as well. Your bio is super important. I see a lot of guys without any bio, or they have a very shallow bio. It's just like a quote, right? Now, you need to understand that your bio is kind of your resume of who you are in a way. Like, who are you? What do you do in life? What are your hobbies? Etc. And so your bio is basically a bullet point summary of all the cool shit you're doing in your life, your hobbies, your work, your lifestyle, anything interesting, right? Back in the day, my bio was, founder and CEO of XYZ, 48 plus countries and traveling. I was also pinning down my city. So if my city was Montreal back in the day, I would just put Montreal. Now I live in Tallinn, Estonia, and so I would just put like pin Tallinn, Estonia. That way they know that I'm in this city. Also, I would put different elements, right? But you need to have a good bio. Now, your profile needs to be public, okay? Stop using a private profile, because when you're going to be DMing girls, they're not going to be able to see what you do and who you are. So no more private profiles, only public, okay? You have to be public. Now, you also need to have a baseline of photos. You need to have minimum 6 to 12 photos that are high quality. And this is your portfolio, okay? Now, you can have a mix of, I would say it's good to have a mix of carousels, a mix of reels if you can, a mix of single pictures. You can mix it up, right? A few carousels, normal photos, reels if you can, right? And that's it, because if a picture is worth 1,000 words, then carousel are worth 10,000 words, whatever, and a reel is worth 100,000 words because they can see who you are in a video. So yeah, I think a bit of carousels, a bit of photos, a bit of videos, that would make it pretty cool. Now also, no selfies, okay? No selfies of you in the car, in the bathroom, shirtless, whatever. No selfies. Just have pictures of you taken from a third-party angle, as if there was a paparazzi there taking a picture of you. And ideally, you don't want to look at the camera, by the way. Also, you don't want to have photos of you with plain backgrounds, like you're in a photo shoot studio. I see so many guys taking pictures of them in just plain backgrounds with nothing, right? It just looks like you're modeling or doing a casting for something, but it's not really relevant. You want to have pictures of you in normal environments, like in a cool restaurant, in a cool coffee shop, with a cool landscape, at some cool place somewhere. So you just want to have pictures of you in normal, natural environments, and have some third-party person take pictures of you, as if you didn't know they were there, as if you were just living your life and they're taking a picture of you. And that's the best type of Instagram picture. Now, another thing that adds a lot of value to your profile is highlights. You need to have highlights, because if you don't have any highlights, then they can't really see how you live your life day to day. And highlights, they add a lot of relatability, and it shows that you're real, and it shows your lifestyle a bit more. Basically, highlights are stories that you save, and that can be showcased permanently. As long as you keep them in your highlights, they can be showcased permanently to people who visit your profile. And so you can have highlights of you traveling, highlights of you doing some cool activities, highlights of you partying, whatever. But you want to showcase to people how your life looks like on a day-to-day basis, in a way. Now, you don't need to post consistently. I mean, I post stories weekly, but you don't need to. As long as you have those highlights and you have a couple pictures, as I said, 6 to 12 pictures, you're solid. You don't need to update your profile every week or every month, okay? This is also a limiting belief. A lot of guys think that, if I start using Instagram to get dates, I'm gonna need to post every single day and post stories and blah, 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 and it's gonna take my time. No, just set it and forget it. Now, you can update it if you want every month or two, but you don't even need to, as long as you have that baseline. Now, the second thing I want to say about Instagram is that it actually saves you time. Like, most driven guys, they don't have the time to day game for multiple hours a week, right? Why waste hours walking around the mall or awkwardly approaching women in public when you can send dozens of DMs on Instagram in just a couple minutes, right? Now, I'm not against cold approach. I love cold approach. I teach cold approach. Cold approach is amazing. But all I'm saying is, why not do both? Because, really with Instagram, you can reach out to 50 women in less than 30 minutes from anywhere, right? You could be sitting on your couch, like I'm sitting right now here, And super easy. I just pull up my phone, DM a few girls, listen to a podcast, whatever. And you can have a super targeted approach. That's what's good as well. And that approach allows you to find low exposure women, even the private ones, even the ones with less than 1,000 followers. And then you can DM them, start conversations, and go on dates with the ones who reply. Now, there's going to be plenty of girls who are not going to reply. Till this day, my conversion rate is probably out of 50 DMs I send, maybe 10, 20 are going to reply if it's a good day. But that's fine. You don't need to have a ton of replies. You just need to convert the ones who reply. That's it. And you need to have the right texting skills as well. Like if you don't have the right texting skills, if you text like shit, then don't expect to have a lot of dates, okay? But the beauty of Instagram is that it gives you unlimited options. Even when you travel, I travel all the time. I travel more than, 10 times per year, usually every month. And every time I travel, whenever I land to a new city, the first thing I do is I DM a few girls. If I want to get dates, obviously. If I don't want to get dates, then I don't need to. But that's one of the first things I do. DM girls, start setting up dates, start setting up stuff, especially if we're on a boot camp. So if you come on a boot camp with me, I host boot camps 6 times per year, usually, every 2 months. If it's not every 2 months, it's like every quarter. So 4 to 6 a year, I would say. And, I'm a date generating machine on my boot camps. I set up dates, etc. I set up events as well. You've probably seen sometimes me and my clients getting into limousines. So what we do during my boot camps is we have one night during the boot camp where we usually take a limousine, bring a ton of girls, and then go to a nightclub. And I use Instagram for that as well. Now we can also invite girls that we meet during daytime, or we can find some other girls too besides Instagram. But Instagram is a great way as well. And the thing is, even if you meet girls in real life, one of the best ways to keep in touch is Instagram. Like, I cold approach girls all the time, almost every week. And every single week, the girls that I cold approach, I take their Instagram. And it's a great way for them to see how I'm like online, to see my lifestyle, right? Now, imagine DMing 25 to 50 women in 30 minutes every day. Well, over a week, that's 350 opportunities to connect and potentially date some amazing women in your city. And even if only a fraction of these women respond, well, you'll have more dates than you know what to do with. And that's my reality right now. So now, this is the most awaited part of this video. We're going to cover some conversation examples. I'm going to share with you a few conversation examples, and you're going to be able to see how I conduct my conversations with these women. So these are purely examples, and we go way more in depth in my Dating Accelerator program. But I just want you to understand the power of this and how easy it is to set up dates and get started and just, date girls through Instagram. So let's dive into it. Without further ado, let's go over the first conversation. So let me open up the first conversation. And so the first conversation is with Sophia. So let's dive in. This is a girl I've dated a few months ago. So at first I said Sophia, comma, Tallinn, right? That's the first thing I say usually is her name, first name, and then comma, and then city, question mark. And so then she said, hey, I'm here in Tallinn. I said, great, I'm here too. Are you Estonian? I'm French myself. And so then she says, yeah, I am born and raised here, but my parents are both Russian, blah, blah, blah. Then I said, okay, nice, I see. So what do you do here in XYZ city besides breaking hearts? So what do you do here in Tallinn besides breaking hearts? So then she says, well, besides breaking hearts, I'm studying regression therapy, blah, blah, blah. I'm in the Holistic Institute here in Tallinn and working in the game presenting industry. What are you doing in Tallinn? So then I said, oh, nice. That sounds pretty interesting. Would love to learn more but not here. I have my business here, been here for 2 years so far. And so then she says, oh, and how do you like it? I said, I love it, but I have to travel at least once a month. Otherwise, I feel like it's too repetitive. And then I asked her if she liked traveling. Let me know if you've ever been to Paris before. And so then she said, yeah, I feel you, haha, I love traveling, especially if I'm able to get out of the snow and wind for a bit. I've been to Paris, yes, but I feel like it's more of a romantic city. I've never been there with a friend. So then I said, yeah, haha, I'm actually going to Dubai next week. Looking forward to getting back to a warmer place. It is, have you ever dated a French guy before or never? So then I asked her if she's ever dated a French guy. Obviously, I'm French, so this leads to the dating part. So then she says, lucky you, haha, because I told her I was going to Dubai. I mean, I've been on a couple dates maybe, but it didn't lead to anything. I guess my expectations were too high, haha. So then I said, okay, I see. Okay, I see. And then she said, what about you? 2 years in Tallinn. And then I made a voice note. So voice notes are super powerful because with voice notes, you can really show her your voice and how you are, etc. Right? So then I sent a voice note because that was a tricky question and I didn't want to mess it up. So I sent a voice note and I said something. I'm pretty sure I said something like, yeah, I've been in Tallinn, for almost 2-3 years now. Of course, I've dated some girls here. I love Estonian girls, blah blah blah. And then I probably proposed to her to grab a drink. I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly what I said. But basically, then she said, any Estonian girls that were able to break your heart. And then I said, yeah, my heart is too strong for that. Guess I haven't found the one. And then she said, I'm pretty fun. That's true. Yeah, no, so basically, okay, now I remember. So in the voice note, I basically told her, yeah, I've dated a few girls here. I love it. I love Estonian girls, blah, blah, blah. And then I said, you know what? You look pretty fun. Let's grab a drink together soon, see if we get along, blah, blah, blah. And so then she asked me if there was any Estonian girls that were able to break my heart. And then I said this. And then she said, yeah, I'm pretty fun. That's true. Because I told her, oh, you seem pretty fun. Let's grab a drink sometime. And so then she said, actually, Monday sounds perfect. And so she said she already has plans for today's evening. So Monday it is. And then I said, perfect, let's do Monday. So basically, yeah, I think I even told her to meet up that evening. I told her, yeah, I'm going to free up maybe later on if you want to grab a drink, or we can do this Monday, right? And so then I said, perfect, let's do Monday because Monday is better. And that's it. And then we set up a date. And then I always ask for their WhatsApp because WhatsApp is less noisy. Instagram is a bit noisy. So I always ask, got WhatsApp, by the way, better to stay in touch there. And then she gave me her WhatsApp, and then we kept in touch on WhatsApp, and we had a great time. So yeah, this is literally the process. And as you can see, the conversation is not that long. It's a few back and forths, straight to the point. Now, the voice note helped as well. There's a full voice note strategy that I teach my clients to. But yeah, I mean, as you can see, the conversation is not that long. It's pretty straightforward. And this is just one example, okay? There's another example that I'm going to give you. So let's go over with Annie. Okay, this is another example of a conversation. So let's check it out. So with Annie, basically, same thing. I said Annie, then she said Limo, ha ha ha, hi. Then I said Tallinn, question mark. She said yes. Then I said, oh, that's good, best city, plus I'm here too. So what do you do here besides breaking hearts? This is like really, standard question. Then she said, ha ha ha, oh, I'm actually working full-time warehouse, driving a forklift, nothing fancy, and you. Yeah, her job is not that fancy, but who cares? She was hot, so then she was like, what brings you to Tallinn? So then I said, nice, so you're pretty active, just traveling the world myself, working on my business. So now I'm showcasing a bit of value. She can see, she can get a taste of what kind of guy I am by me just saying that, by me showing that, oh, I have my business, I travel. So those are pretty cool things. And so then she says, oh, that's awesome. And yeah, I got to stay active, got to make the money, but it's nice if you can travel with your job. So then I said, nice, let me ask you a question. And then she said, go for it. So I saw that she was pretty, because how she smiled and everything and how she laughed here, that shows a lot of interest. Like that shows that she's kind of bought in. She likes me already. She's giggly. She's already, like her buying temperature is pretty high. Like she's pretty bought in. Like you can tell like yeah, she likes me, a lot of emojis, etc. So I went straight to the point. I said, okay, how adventurous are you usually on a scale of 1 to 10? She said, I'd say a good 8, depending though on what we're talking about. So then I said, great, I like that. And yeah, of course, depends. Anything below 8 would have been a deal breaker. Now I'm kind of slightly almost disqualifying her. Not really disqualifying her, but showing that I could disqualify her. What cool things are you doing this weekend? And then she said, sorry, haha, I was a little busy yesterday, but I'm not too sure about this weekend yet. Don't have much planned. As I decided Monday, I'm going to Turkey on the 23rd. What are you planning? And then I said, oh, nice, Turkey's dope. Went to Istanbul multiple times. First, do you like wine? So then she said, yeah, I do like white, but haven't gotten into red yet. Started drinking wine only a couple of years ago. So then I said, good, you know what? You actually seem pretty fun. Let's have a drink sometime together soon, see if we get along. So then she was like, ha 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 ha, for sure. Want to leave it for the weekend as I'm working pretty late every day. Would be all yours on Saturday. Okay, that's a positive sign when they say all yours. So then I said, okay, sounds good. Saturday could work because Friday and Sunday I can't. Got WhatsApp, by the way. Same thing. You see how I always transition to WhatsApp. Got WhatsApp, by the way. We'll follow up from there. It's better. And so then she says, that's perfect. And yeah, and then she sends me her number. And then we keep in touch there. And then next thing you know, she's here at my place and we're having a great time. And as you can see, this is a full breakdown. I'm leaving no stone unturned. This is full transparency, full conversation. This actually happened. You can see here, she's even here with my book. You can see even the WhatsApp convo, everything, okay? So this is not made up or anything for the skeptics here. This is real, okay? And this is the second conversation that I'm showing you. Listen guys, like for my clients, I have more than 50, even more, like on my Evernote, because I use Evernote to store those conversations. I have more than 150 conversations open to close exactly like that. I share a lot of those conversations with my clients. But yeah, let me show you another one, okay? Let me show you another conversation. So this is with Paulina this time. Let's see it. So I start with Paulina, just first name. And this is great because it's kind of a very intriguing first message, like, okay. And it's cool because the thing is, you need to understand people love to hear their names. And this is one of the biggest principles that Dale Carnegie teaches in How to Win Friends and Influence People, is that people love to hear their names, remember people's names, and say it back to them. Like whenever you can say someone's name back to them, always say it. So I used kind of this principle of psychology as well to my advantage here. I always start with their name, like Paulina, yes. Tallinn, question mark, yes. That's good. Best city, plus I'm here. What do you do here besides breaking hearts? Oh, my family lives here, so I moved from London to Tallinn for some time until lockdown is finished. I don't know. What about you? What do you do here? So that was like 2-3 years ago, by the way, this convo, but it's fine. I mean, I could have shown like a more recent convo. I've already shown like some recent convos here before, but it works the same, guys. So what about you? What do you do here? So then I said, okay, great. So usually you're in London. I'm from Paris. I came in Tallinn for business, and I just want to travel the world. I have some friends here too. And so then she says, that's nice. Tallinn is beautiful. We love it. And then I said, yeah, it's great. Loving it so far. Are you in fashion? My sister studies fashion in London, and that's true. My sister back in the day, she studied fashion in London, and that's why also I was going to London pretty regularly, and I have a lot of friends in London. And so then she said, haha, I wish, well, I'm a part-time model, but in finance full-time, you? So then I said, okay, that's great. And then I said, print or runaway? Because I've been into fashion and modeling, so I know, are you print or runaway? And then she says, mainly print. And then I did something a bit funny here. I said, everybody starts somewhere, I tried to trigger her because print is not as cool as runway in the modeling industry. So when she told me mainly print, I made kind of an egg of like, oh, everybody starts somewhere, like just teasing her that it's not that crazy, but well, she's just starting out. And then I switched, like, are you 100% Estonian? And so see how she responded to that. She said, "What do you mean by starting? Haha, I've done runway before, just not tall enough anymore." So now she's qualifying herself to me, and I'm flipping the dynamic here. And she's the one trying to qualify herself. And so then she says, "I'm not Estonian at all, actually. My family is Russian. They just live here." I said, "Okay, great. Love Russians. I've been to St. Petersburg many times. I'm curious, how old are you?" 23. And then usually when they tell me their age, I say, "Oh, that's a good age, you know, old enough to have fun, young enough to be smart. Guess how old I am." And then she said, "I would say 29. By the way, this line, I got it from Tate. Like, I spent a lot of time studying the Tate brothers back in 2021, 2020. And there's a lot of things I got from them as well. I learned a lot of new strategies with the Tate brothers. They taught me a few things. And I was actually living in Bucharest back in 2020, and I actually met them. I met them in real life in Caio Club in Bucharest. They used to go to Caio, which is a great club in the Herastrau Lake. So there's a big lake in Bucharest, and surrounding that lake, there's plenty of clubs and restaurants. And so I used to go out to these clubs and restaurants while I was living there, and I met them a couple times. And I learned a bunch of things from them. So anyway, this was a line I took from them. It's a pretty smart line. I like it. And so then I said, "Guess how old I am?" She said, "I would say 29. And then I said, "Oh, you're aging me a lot. I'm actually 24. Na na na. Sounded like you are in your 20s, but very late ones. Haha." And then I said, "Well, I'm not. That's cool that you're young too. Well, let me ask you a question." And then she said, "Sure." So then I said, "How adventurous are you usually on a scale of 1 to 10? And then she says, "Haha, you wouldn't believe it, but you are the third person asking me this today. I would say I am 8, love adventures." And then I said, "Haha, wow, that's a coincidence. Great, I like that because I usually get along really well with women who are spontaneous and adventurous. So what's the craziest thing you've ever done?" So this is part of kind of sexualizing things. It's kind of a sexualization sequence that I used to run. I don't run it as much these days, but basically, she said, "Well, I would say that that will be my decision to move into the country I have never been at the age of 17 and stay there for 6 years." So basically, the craziest thing she's ever done was move by herself with no friends, family, or people. And so then I said, "Yeah, that's pretty adventurous for 17 years old. That's good to have those experiences early in life." And so then she said, "Well, what about you?" And then I said, "Well, I can tell you, but you have to be open-minded. Are you?" And then she said, "Sure." And so that gives me the permission to actually sexualize even further. So then I said, "Well, one of the most adventurous things, for example, that I did was having sex in the toilets of the Eiffel Tower on the second floor. It was very spontaneous. I had the idea when we went up to see the view. I'm glad I did. Great memories." And so then she said, "Haha, okay. Well, I think most of the people are quite spontaneous with that." And then I said, "Yeah, well, would you do it?" And so then she said, "Well, that depends. All those things depend on your partner." And then I said, "Absolutely. It has to be with the right guy." And then I said, "Tell me, have you ever dated a French guy before?" And then she said, "No, I only dated twice and they weren't French. Why?" And so I said, "Okay, I'm just curious. That's cool because I'm actually French. And you know what? You seem fun. Let's have a coffee this week when I'm free." And so I said, "When I'm free," because that adds a bit of scarcity. But then she kind of played the game and she said, "Oh, or when I'm free." Yes. So then I was like, what did I say? No, no, no. Oh yeah, and then actually, she checked my profile and saw that I was actually coaching about dating. And so then she said, "Are you coaching how to get women and stuff?" It's because she saw that. And so then I said, "Yeah, I'm helping men gain more confidence and attract the women they want. No, no, no. That's my passion project, blah, blah, blah. What do you teach them?" So now I was just like, telling, yeah, I teach them multiple things, long to explain here. Does tomorrow or Friday work for you? So now I'm switching the topic and really getting straight to the point. And so then she said, "Friday sounds good." I said, "Cool, let's do Friday." And then same thing, switch to WhatsApp. Got WhatsApp, by the way. I'm trying to avoid Instagram. If yes, shoot me your number. We'll follow up from there. And so then she shoots me her number, and then we keep in touch there. And then, came to my place after the date and went pretty well. So these are some examples of conversations that I had and that I'm sharing with you, full transparency. Some of them were a bit older like this one, but Sophia and Annie, it was pretty recent, was actually this year. And I hope this provides you some inspiration and shows you what's possible with Instagram, because it's super easy to leverage it. Once you have the right profile and you have the right texting and you know what to do, super easy to get dates. Now, this is only 10% of what I teach in my programs, even less than that. I teach a lot more in my programs. We go way, way deeper with Instagram, way deeper. This is just scratching the surface here. And if you want, I want to offer you a free PDF that I made on Instagram. So you can get a copy of this in the description. I made a free PDF. You can just get it for free, showing you some powerful principles and how to use Instagram to your advantage. And if you want to level up your dating life in the next few weeks and you want to attract and date high quality women consistently without wasting your time, then check out the training as well that I have and book a call with my team. Either myself or someone from my team will take the call. We'll go over your situation, your goals, and we'll show you exactly how to bridge the gap and how to put the right systems in place so you can get there without wasting your time. So anyways, check out the PDF. You can get it for free. Check out my free training as well and book a call with myself or my team. It's going to be very valuable. It's going to be really giving you the right tools and the right game plan to crush it as soon as possible. So pick a time and I'll see you on the other side.